doing some yoga this morning.
Awesome. Okay, I have to quickly fix my mic. Okay, no, actually it is working. Cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm here. Actually, let me reset that.
Okay, we're live.
Yay!
Hey, everyone out there on the internet. Let us know if you can hear us, please. I don't think anyone's tuning in. We just got on.
That's okay. Like, if you didn't pop in, that's fine. I'm happy to just like be here right now.
So are you at your friend's house?
Yes, I'm cat sitting and house sitting. She is away in, I want to say, Ohio.
Very
so,
It looks very spacious for DC.
I know, I love it. Like, she's got an amazing apartment, and I'm so grateful that she lets me just like kind of like hang out here and like take care of things for her. So,
you want to do a shout out for your hair right now because it looks really good.
Oh yeah, so just for people that DC, Maryland area, I got my hair done by Frank Ortiz. He works for or he owns a business. It is Sinatra's Gentleman Barber, and yeah, he gave me a little design and did a really amazing job. So
looks awesome.
All right, my friends, are we all good to go?
I just want to make sure that they can definitely hear us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I think that y'all can hear us, so we can just get started. All right, good morning, everyone out there on the internet. Thanks for tuning in to yet another segment of HABITHON. We are really excited to be welcoming Josie back to the scene. She's a returning star. And okay, Meredith is now entering. So for all of those who don't know, HABITHON is trying to raise money to support Habitat for Humanity's COVID-19 relief efforts. And we have exceeded our fundraising goal. So that's really exciting. We've raised $10,400 and I'm about to do another donation from last night's class. So we're so close to $10,500, which is crazy. So now Josie's going to take it away. I just wanted to do a brief intro.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Good morning, everybody. Thank you again for joining me for our pre-brunch yoga. This is the perfect class for those of you that'll be doing your virtual brunches. You might be hungover from the night before, so you want to get some more energy back, or maybe you're just trying to get your Sunday started. You might have a day of like cleaning ahead of you, or even just relaxation. So thank you for joining me. We're going to go ahead and get started on our yoga mats. So we'll go ahead and start in a child's pose. So this child's pose, you can do whatever variation of it. If you want to stretch out your lower back, you can keep your knees together, hands spread out in front of you, and just sink your hips down and back. And then rest your forehead on the ground gently. Or if you want to stretch out your hips, you can go ahead and stretch your knees a little bit like wider than the mat. And then just like sink your hips down and back. Gently rest your head on the mat here. Stay in this posture. We'll be here for a few moments, just doing a little gentle breathing exercise and just getting familiar with our surroundings and our space. I've got George here with me this morning, so he'll be doing yoga with us as well. So from here, you're in your child's pose of choice. You can rock your forehead gently against the mat. Give yourself a little forehead massage and just kind of, feel nice and relaxed here. Go ahead and enjoy a few moments of silence. Silence and meows. While you're in your child's pose, go ahead and breathe in deeply. And hold your breath at the top for a few moments. And then slowly exhale. Inhale again, filling your belly with all that good air. Let it circulate throughout your belly a little bit. Feel that breath like spread throughout your body, into your hands, your hips, your lower back. And slowly exhale again. And just breathe here on your own for a few moments. Get comfortable. We're going to start off, kind kind of just like warming up to this, very gentle movements, and we'll get a little bit more intense towards the middle of it. But then, of course, we'll cool down and meet our Shavasana. So it'll be a really, really great practice. You need to rock from side to side here. Go ahead. Just very gently sway. Go ahead and come up onto all fours for a tabletop position. Keep the weight in your hands and your knees and the tops of your feet evenly distributed. You don't want to put any pressure in your too much pressure in your knees or your wrists. And we'll just kind of stand here in a nice neutral spine for a moment. Get familiar with this posture. It's a posture that I actually really like. This is tabletop in general, keeping a nice tight core. My body is engaged. And we'll try to wake up a little bit with some cat-cows, which is always a good time. So from here, inhale, drop the belly, look up, hips and neck up towards the sky. Cow. Exhale, round the spine, push your hands into the ground. Cat. Inhale, drop the belly, cow. Exhale, round the spine, cat. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, round the spine. And go ahead and just do this movement on your own, remembering to keep the breath. Go at your own pace, your own movements. Invite some, other movements in here as well. This is a little variation. I like to swivel my hips from side to side. I like to kind of roll, do a couple body rolls here and there on opposite directions. Whatever it takes to feel good in this moment, to relax yourself. You can kind of take some nice little rolls from side to side here. And just keep doing this movement for a little bit. Enjoy the feeling. Keep inviting that inhale and exhale. Go ahead and find yourself in a nice, comfortable seated position. And if you have a cat meowing next to you, that's, bonus points, right? Go ahead and come into that comfortable seated position. Remove any excess flesh from beneath your sitting bones. If you're on your knees, that's good too. If you're in a nice little crisscross applesauce, that's, whatever is comfortable for you. Sitting up nice and tall to the crown of the head. You can place your hands on your knees facing down to stay grounded, or hands facing up to receive energy. Today, I think I'll receive some energy, so I'll keep my hands up. Keep a nice soft gaze looking towards the ground, or I invite you to close your eyes if you wish. And breathe here for a few moments. And go ahead and set an intention for your practice. That intention could be, whatever your purpose is for this class, whether it's to wake up, feel better after a night of drinking with maybe your roommate or whoever you are socially distancing with. You might be preparing for the week ahead of you. You might be meal prepping, whatever it might be. You might dedicate this class to somebody or to yourself. This is your time. This is your practice. And you're going to do whatever feels right in these few moments here. And do it for yourself. From here, we're going to do a couple little neck rolls and just get a little bit more of a warm up. So going to our right side, we will slowly roll our neck all the way around. And go ahead to the left side, roll all the way around. Take it back to the right. And to the left. Go ahead and shake your head from side to side, no. Nod your head up and down, yes. Very gently, gentle movements. We're not trying to break our neck or our spine. Take your right hand and gently tilt your head to the right side. You feel that nice stretch throughout the left side of your neck. Just hold here for a few moments. Breathe into that. Release that hold. Use your left hand and do the opposite side. Feel that stretch throughout the right side of your neck. Remember to breathe into these movements. And release. Go ahead and sweep your arms up and overhead. Look to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Do that again a few more times. Sweep the hands up and overhead. Stretch and reach. Inhale. Exhale. Hands to heart center. One more time. This makes the biggest stretch you have. Go ahead. Arms up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful. You do a couple little like spine rotations here, little rolls, a few body rolls. Go ahead and plant your hands down to the mat, if George will let me. We're going to come into our first downward dog of the day. Send your hips up and back. Relax your neck. Keep a nice little micro bend in your knees if you need to. And just pedal out your feet from here. Make sure your head, your neck, and spine, it's a nice one long line here. If your heels aren't touching the ground, that's okay. Mine don't usually start off on the ground. It works its way there. Just breathe here for a few moments. This is probably your first downward dog of the day. Pedal out your feet. Invite whatever movements you need to. Maybe like switch the weight distribution between your hips a little bit and just feel a nice little hamstring stretch. Keep your fingers nice and wide. And from here, take your right foot, place it in the middle of your mat. Use your left glute to rise your left leg towards the sky for three-legged dog. Maybe from here you are rolling your ankles a little bit in opposite directions. Just to get nice and warmed up. Very gentle movements. And just hold that for a few moments. You're back in your downward dog. Keep that left leg up towards the sky still. Remember to engage the glutes. And bend your knee. And gently take your hips in little circles here. First starting inward, and then going outward. Really want us to warm up the hips, because we'll be doing a lot of like hip opening, postures in this sequence today. And I think we'll need it right now. Go ahead and place that left leg back down to the mat. Rise your right leg using the right glute up towards the sky. Only go as high as you can. You don't need to be like, looking like a gymnast right now. And if you are, that's awesome. Go ahead and roll out that ankle as well. Go in opposite directions. Nice little gentle movements. Bend that knee. And take your hips in little circles here. First going outward, and then going inward. Bring your legs back down to the mat. Stepping your hands in between the feet, or stepping your feet between the hands. Come into a forward fold. Relax your neck. You need to keep a nice little micro bend in your knees, you may. Hands planted down towards the mat. Just hold here for a few moments. You'll feel that stretch throughout your hamstrings. You'll release a little bit of tension in your back if you're hinging from your hips nicely. Remember to keep your neck relaxed. From here, grab opposite elbows. And remember to keep your neck relaxed. Keep grabbing those opposite elbows. Relax and release everything. And just sway from side to side. Very gently. Kind of just ragdoll here a little bit. Still feeling that stretch throughout the hamstrings. Release your elbows. And then rise all the way up, hands to the ceiling, mountain pose. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll go into our sun A's, if I'm allowed to. So, starting off at the top of your mat. I'm not going to start there, but I insist that you guys start at the top of your mat. Bring your toes slightly together, heels slightly apart. Hands out in front of you, palms facing forward. Standing nice and tall and strong in Tadasana. Everything is engaged here. Your glutes, your quads, hamstrings, your core. Your shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. You're standing proud and tall. You're going to take some pride in this practice today. Go ahead and sweep the arms all the way up towards the sky, mountain pose. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the hands to the shins. Shoulder blades are pulling back. You've got a nice flat back here. Your core is engaged. Glutes are definitely engaged to hold this posture. The weight between your feet are evenly distributed. And you are in your halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down towards the mat. Step your feet out into a high plank. And from here, you've got the option of lowering halfway or all the way down to take your vinyasa today. If you're lowering all the way down, you're going to come up into a baby cobra. And you're going to come up like this using your lower back. If you're coming halfway, you're going to push yourself forward into upward facing dog. Go ahead and take your back bend here of choice. Flip the toes, send the hips up and back for downward facing dog. And we'll hold here for a few breaths. Just breathe freely here. You might notice that your heels are gently making their way to the ground. Keep that micro bend in your knees if you need to. Look forward, step the feet between the hands. Forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up, overhead. Exhale, hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back into high plank, lower all the way or halfway down. Inhale, take your back bend. Exhale, flip the feet, send the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Just breathe freely here for a few moments. If you find that your mind is wandering, come back to the intention that you set for yourself. Don't be afraid to forgive yourself. If your mind is wandering off, it happens. You're thinking about groceries or brunch. Just come back to your focus. Look forward, step the feet between the hands. Forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do this one more time. Inhale, rise the hands all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground, come to your high plank. Lower all the way or halfway down. Inhale, take your back bend. Exhale, flip the toes, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Look forward, step the feet between the hands. Forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now we'll get into our sun bees, a little bit tougher, but it's always a good one and a good way to really just wake up a lot of those muscles. So before we start, I'll go over a little demo for those of you that aren't familiar with some of these, movements and whatnot. We're going to be getting into a chair pose a lot, which is definitely a little bit tougher, but think of coming into a squat. Go ahead and ground your feet here. Keep your feet nice and hip width distance apart. If you need to, you can keep them a little bit closer too. I like to keep mine hip width distance apart. I'm still feeling a nice engagement in my glutes. You're going to sink your hips down and back. Rise the hands overhead, or you can keep the hands to heart center. You're engaging your glutes here. Your core is active and working. Hands can be overhead or in that heart center. Keep a nice line in your spine. And then release. So go ahead and start off in our chair pose. Sink the hips down and back, arms up overhead, or hands to heart center. And just hold here for a few moments. Breathe, breathe, breathe. I didn't really warn you guys that I was going to be working you this morning. Go ahead and forward fold, release down, and breathe here. Hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, come into your high plank. Going to lower your body all the way or halfway down. Take your back bend here. Flip the toes, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Touch your right foot to the center of the mat. Use that left glute to bring that left leg up. Swing the left leg in between the hands. Plant your back heel down at a 45-degree angle. Rise all the way up, warrior one. Breathe here for a few moments, get familiar with this movement. Lower your hands down to frame the foot. Have that left foot meet the right. Take your vinyasa here, lower all the way halfway down. Take your back bend. Flip the toes, send the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. We'll be doing that same movement on the opposite leg now. So bring that left leg to the center of the mat. Right glute raises the right leg. Swing that right leg between the hands. Lower that back leg down to a 45-degree angle. And slowly rise up into warrior one. We'll hold here for a few breaths as well. If you find that you don't have a lot of stability here, you might need to bring your legs out a little bit wider apart. Instead of being on a tightrope, you want to be railroad tracks. So that'll kind of help you keep that stability. Your inner thigh muscles are slightly scissored towards each other to keep that stability and that strength. You're very, very active in this posture. Lower your hands down to frame the front foot. Right foot meets the left. Lower down. Take your vinyasa. Back bend of choice. Flip the toes, send the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. If at any point these postures get a little bit too intense and you need to take a moment to rest and breathe, don't be afraid to come back into your child's pose. This is a really great way to just relax. You can even do this instead of the vinyasa, just as long as you meet us back eventually at some point. But don't be afraid to be forgiving of yourself in these movements. If there's something that you're just not in the mood for, you're not forced to do it. This is your practice at the end of the day, right? Look forward, step the feet between the hands. Forward fold. Coming back into your chair pose, the hips are down and back. Hold for a few moments, breathe, breathe. Engage those muscles, and then standing nice and tall, mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do this again, same sequence 2 more times. I'm hoping you guys are nice and warm and feeling this tapas right now, all right? I'm hoping you're feeling the heat throughout your body. Let's go ahead, sweep the arms up and overhead, send the hips down and back. Chair pose. Release, forward fold. Hands to shins, halfway lift. Hands back down to the mat. Send your feet back into a high plank. Lower all the way or halfway down. Take your back bend of choice. Flip the toes, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Right foot comes to the middle of the mat, left leg rises. Sweep the left leg between the hands, plant it down. Right foot is at a 45-degree angle. Sweep up, warrior one. Hands back down to frame the foot. Right foot meets the left, or left foot meets the right. Lower all the way or halfway down. Take your back bend of choice. Flip the toes, send the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Opposite foot comes to the center of the mat. We'll do our right side now. Right leg raises. Plant right foot between the hands. If you're able to. Back foot is planted, rise up, warrior one. Lower back down, hands to frame the foot. High plank, lower all the way or halfway down. Take your back bend. Flip the toes, send the hips up and back. Just hold your downward dog here for a few moments. Breathe into it. Let me bring my camera back into focus for you. Beautiful job, everybody. And just hold your downward dog for a few moments. All right, we'll come up to our last part of the sequence. Look forward, step the feet between the hands. Come into your forward fold. Remember, if you need to take child's pose at any point in time, please go ahead and do so. Come back into your chair posture. Hold, hold, hold. Stand nice and tall. Hands back down to heart center. All right, we've got one more time. You guys are doing really great. Sweep your hands up and overhead. Sink the hips down and back, child's pose. Remember to breathe. Plant your hands down to the mat, forward fold. Hands to shins, halfway lift. Hands back down to the mat. Send your feet back to a high plank. Lower all the way or halfway down. Take your back bend of choice. Flip the toes, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Step the right foot to the middle of the mat. Left leg rises. Sweep the left leg between the hands. Right foot's planted down to the ground. Rise all the way up. Warrior one. Lower your hands back down to the mat. Left foot meets the right. Take your vinyasa here. Take your back bend. Flip the toes. Send the hips up and back. Step your left foot to the center of your mat. Right leg rises. Sweep it between the hands. Left foot is down at a 45-degree angle. Rise all the way up. Warrior one. Keep holding your warrior one. I don't know why my thing comes out of focus. Sorry, everybody. Warrior one. Plant your hands to frame the foot. Right foot meets the left. Lower all the way or halfway down. Take your back bend. Flip the toes, send the hips up and back. I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely working up a sweat. I did this to myself. All right, go ahead, release down from your downward dog. Come into your child's pose for a few moments and reset. Remember to breathe here, catch your breath. Come back to your intention if you need to, your focus, whatever it might be. If you've got a mantra going, say it loud. Just remember what your purpose is for class. So I'm going to keep reminding you guys. It's just a really great way to come back to your practice and to not really let your mind wander too much. Go ahead and come into your tabletop position. Send your hips up and back. And then shift your body into a high plank. I'm going to show you guys this a little bit better, but I need to move my mat out of the way for a moment. Hold on one second. George, you stay where you are, buddy. I'm just going to gently shift this. Okay, stay where you are. You're good. You're good. You're good. Need a little bit more room to show you. We're going to be doing something that's a little bit more intense, but it's going to build up some nice arm muscles for us. And I'm not sure if anybody was prepared for push-ups today, but think of this like a yogi push-up. So we are in our planks. You're going to hold here. Weight is evenly distributed. Your wrists are stacked under your shoulders. You're nice and tight, nice and core engaged, glutes are engaged. I want you to bend your elbows back and gently lower yourself to the ground slowly. And if you're able to bring your chin to the ground, go ahead and do so. And exhale, breathe in. Inhale, send yourself back up. No, don't lay there. On an exhale, you're going to lower yourself back down to the mat. If you don't have a cat underneath you, resting your chin on the ground. And just breathe there for a few moments. I'm going to see if I can gently distract him. Okay. I'll turn this way. Inhale, using all those muscles, your core, your arms, triceps, biceps. Push yourself back up. Exhale, slowly lower back down. Inhale, breathe this one last time. And just push yourself up. Exhale, lower all the way down. Thank you, buddy. He's a very good assistant. He just likes to be in the way sometimes. It's fine. And then send yourself back into your child's pose. Come back up to all fours, tabletop position. I'm going to turn this way because I'm all turned around now. Come back into your downward facing dog. Touch your right foot towards the center of the mat. Left leg rises to the sky. Sweep the left leg between the hands. Plant that back foot down. Rise up, warrior one. Just breathe here for a few moments. If you'd like to invite more of a back bend here, you may. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You can bring your hands behind your back, grab opposite elbows, hands down to heart center if you wish. And just get familiar with this posture for a few moments. You can deepen that stretch by bending your front knee a little bit further. Just don't send that knee over your toes unless you want to hurt your knees. And then bringing that back foot parallel to the back of the mat, arms out to a T. Strong arms here, really engaged. Look out past your middle finger. Warrior two. We'll hold here for a few breaths and get familiar with this movement. Go ahead from here, straighten that front leg. One thing I almost forgot, if you have a thick book or a block or maybe a shoebox, you can use this as well. We'll come into our triangle pose, straighten that front leg, heel toe, your back leg, about 2 to 3 steps. Shift forward, hinging from the hips. If you need to shorten your stance, go ahead. Shift forward, bring that front hand to the bottom of the mat, or bring it to maybe your ankle or to a block. Right arm is towards the sky. You can keep a neutral neck here, or you can look up towards the ceiling. And if you're losing balance like me, you might need to widen your stance just a little bit. And hold here. You should feel a nice stretch throughout your side body, throughout your right side body. Your core is engaged here. You're not letting anything just like dump over. There's a nice space between your thigh and your torso here. Grabbing a hook in the sky, use your core muscles to bring you back up. And I'm going to turn to face you guys so you can see. So from here, bring your toes parallel to the front, to the side of your mat. Maybe widen your stance a little bit if you need to. Maybe a nice micro bend from your knees, hands to hips. From here, you're going to hinge from the hips for a wide-legged forward fold. And just keep a nice flat back. Come down, relax your neck. If you need to, you can bring your hands to the ground or to your ankles. And just release, and you'll feel a nice little hamstring stretch here. For those of you that incorporate a tripod headstand into your practice, you may. I'm not going to today because I am not in the mood for that. Just hold here and breathe freely. My tripod headstand people, go ahead and come out of your inversion. Place your hands to your hips and gently use your core. Bring yourself slowly back up, standing nice and tall. Go ahead, bring that front leg back to your warrior two position. Hands out to a T. Go ahead and cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Right leg meets the left, or left leg meets the right. Lower all the way down. Go ahead into baby cobra, using your lower back to bring your body up off the ground very gently. And then flip the toes from the hips up and back, downward facing dog. I'm going to go ahead and turn back around so that way I'm not too confused. Or at least I'm not too confused. Now we'll do this on the opposite side, bringing that left leg towards the middle of the mat. Right glute raises. Sweep the right foot between the hands. Left leg is planted at a 45-degree angle. Come back into your warrior one. You took more of a back bend here, go ahead and take that again on this side. Otherwise, you can grab opposite elbows here or keep your prayer hands. Hold here, breathe into this movement. Get familiar on this side. You might notice that this side, your back bend is deeper, or maybe your stance is a little bit deeper here. It's always different on one side than the other. Sometimes my right side is stronger, sometimes my left. There's nothing wrong with that. Hands out to a T. Back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Warrior two. Breathe into this movement. Gaze is out past the middle fingers. Nice and strong and engaged here. Go ahead and straighten out that front leg. Heel toe, your stance a little bit shorter, the back leg to have a shorter stance. Hinging forward a little bit from your torso. Front hand is to the mat, to a block, or to your ankle. Back hand is up towards the sky. You keep a neutral neck here, or look up towards that back hand. Triangle pose. Feel that stretch all throughout here, all throughout this left side of your body. Remember to keep that space here. You're not trying to dump all your weight here. It's going to be really just harsh on this front knee and the rest of your body. Grab a hook in the sky, come back up. Send that knee back into warrior two stance. Straighten that leg. Bring your feet parallel to the mat, maybe pigeon toe them a little bit too. You can bring your toes a little bit inward towards each other. Keep a nice micro bend in your knees if you need to, so you don't hurt your knees. You don't want to lock them out. This time, instead of hands to hips, bring your hands back, clasp them together. You can see my hands. And from here, you're going to forward fold and bring your hands overhead. As much as you can. Don't strain yourself here. If they don't reach to the floor, that's okay. My hands don't. The range of motion is different for all of us, and we need to be so accepting of that. Just breathe freely here for a few moments. Remember to relax your neck. Go ahead and release that bind behind you. Go ahead and place your hands back to your hips. Slowly rise back up. You're out of our wide-legged forward fold. Shift that front knee shift your leg to the front of the mat again. Come into warrior two. Hands circle around to frame the foot. Right foot meets the left. Lower all the way down. Inhale, rise up, baby cobra. Hands are off the mat, squeezing the shoulder blades together. You're using your lower back to bring you up. And then lower all the way down. Flip the toes, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Or if you'd like to take child's pose here, I invite you to do so now. And just breathe freely in your child's pose or downward facing dog. We'll do this sequence one more time, just to feel that movement and feel good. So you're in your downward facing dog. Go ahead and meet us there if you're in child's pose. Right foot comes to the middle of the mat. Left leg rises to the sky. Sweep that left leg through. Right foot is planted into the mat. Rise up, warrior one. Take whatever bind you might with your hands or prayer hands. Arms out to a T, warrior two. Remember, your back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Straighten that front leg. Heel toe your back leg a few steps. Shift forward. Hand down to a block or to the mat. Look up towards the sky, triangle. Grab a hook in the sky. Come all the way back up, arms back out to a T, warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Hands to hips, we're coming into our wide-legged forward fold. Feet are parallel to the side of the mat, and then lower all the way down. Wide-legged forward fold. Hands to hips. Rise up using the glutes and the core. Knee bends, front knee bends again. Arms back out to a T, warrior two. Hands cartwheel down to frame the foot. Left foot meets the right. Lower all the way down, very slowly. Come into your baby cobra. Use the lower back to rise up. Lower all the way back down. Flip the toes, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Hold your downward facing dog for a few moments. Don't know why my camera decides to come out of focus today. From downward facing dog, we'll do the opposite side now. Left foot comes to the center of the mat. Right leg rises. Sweep the right leg between the hands. Rise up, warrior one. Back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Hands out to a T. Opposite directions. Warrior two. Where gaze is past middle finger and breathe. You can hear my breathing. It's fine. I promise I'm okay. This is my Ujjayi breath, my ocean's breath. If you're doing that as well, it's good. Otherwise, just breathe freely here. Go ahead, straighten that front leg. Heel toe your back foot. Shift forward, hinge forward with your torso. Lower that hand to a block or to the mat. Look up to the sky or keep a neutral neck, triangle. Grab a hook in the sky, come all the way back up, bend that front knee, warrior two. Feet are parallel to the side of the mat. Take your hands back around. This is a nice chest opener, by the way. Come back into our wide-legged forward fold variation. Lower all the way down, hinging from the hips. Bring those hands overhead. Come all the way back up, hands to hips, very nice and slow. Good. All right, knees back, or front knee is bent again. Warrior two, arms back out to a T. Cartwheel the hands down to frame the foot. Right foot meets the left. Lower all the way down. Baby cobra. Plant the hands down, come back into a child's pose this time and rest here for a few moments. You guys are almost done. Stay in your child's pose, relax for a moment. You guys are doing so great. We're so close to our Shavasana. Come out of child's pose into a tabletop position. Sweep the legs through. And then from here, we are in a nice seated position. Feet are extended out in front of us. Go ahead and slowly lower all the way down, with our head resting on the ground gently last. From here, do a little fish pose, a nice little stretch here. Bring your elbows back, shoulder blades pressed together, chest is open, toes are pointed, and relax the neck back for fish pose. Breathe freely here for a little bit. Release yourself back down. From here, bring your knees up to your chest. Give yourself a little bit of a hug. And just roll side to side from here. Release one leg down, extend it out. I have my right knee in my hand, and gently pull your right leg over to the left side. Head is turned towards the right arm for a little supine twist action over here. Just hold and breathe deeply. Bring it back up. Knees are back up to your chest. Lower your right leg down. Grab the left knee. Gently pull the left knee to your right side. Look out to your left, or right side. Wait, look out to your left side. Bring your knee over to your left side. Right side. Sorry, everybody. I'm directionally challenged. It's the worries of being left-handed. Breathe here. Go ahead and release your legs back down to the mat. Hands are to the sides, facing down. I invite you to close your eyes here as we get ready to settle in for our Shavasana. Maybe wiggle out your spine a little bit. If you have a pillow, You can place it underneath your lower back to kind of release any tension. If you find that your lower back is not reaching the floor, nice lower back or pillow right under here will be really nice to release. Or if you want to put the pillow underneath your head, you may do that as well. If you have a blanket, you can put that over you. Just kind of wiggle out your body a little bit. Starting from the top of our head, we'll relax all of our facial features, soften the jaw, release the tongue from the roof of her mouth. Relax your eyebrows, your temples. Feel nice and just grounded here. Relax your neck. Let your shoulder blades sink into the ground. Relax your chest, the belly. George is telling you to relax as well. Soften the glutes, your quads, all the way down to your heels and your feet. And just come back to your intention anytime your mind wanders. And we'll come into our Shavasana. Just know that while you're in Shavasana and you relax, I will call you out of it when the time is right. Trust that I'll bring you out of it and you'll be, on your way getting ready for your virtual brunch session. Slowly and gently bring yourself back to your body. Invite some very gentle movements. Wiggle the fingers. Maybe shake your head from side to side, no. Nod your head, yes. Roll the ankles and wrists a little bit. And as you're doing this, you're waking your body back up. Keeping your eyes closed, roll over onto your right side very gently. And push your body back up with your head being the last thing to come up while keeping your eyes closed. Come into a nice seated position. Eyes are still closed. And just one last time, come back to that intention that you set, that I've been talking about this entire class, that I keep reminding you guys to do. And just give yourself thanks for waking up, if you slept in, if you woke up early, whatever you did. You got ready to come take this class with me this morning, and I'm so grateful. Even if you had like a really, really wild night out, you still made it to class. You might have your furry friend with you that made it to class as well, which is so cool. And again, just be grateful, be thankful in this moment for everything that you have, everything that you've done for yourself today, that you've done for somebody else lately. We're still in these pandemic times, but things are going to get better. We just have to be mindful of each other, be mindful of ourselves, be forgiving of others as well. We're in tough times, but as long as we're just practicing kindness to each other and forgiveness, I think things will be okay. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste, my friends. And thank you guys so much for joining me. We went over just by 2 minutes, but we started a little bit late, but that's fine. Lauren, thank you so much again for having me.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Thank you. I built up a little bit of sweat. I will invite, anybody to ask any questions before I log off, if anybody has any questions for me. Also, Meredith, hi, I see you. I love you.